I wake up. Yeah.
I wake up, flex, thumb down now.
Check.
No drip, just
wet.
Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might
wreck.
But first I
stretch.
Tell 'em run it up. I wake up,
flex,
thumb down now.
Check.
No drip, just
wet.
Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no
rest.
Might crash, might
wreck.
But first I
stretch.
Tell 'em run it up.
9
out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady.
I left that up there because I don't want the people say that we didn't give you a fair warning.
Oh boy. Ebony Sports Reporters in the house. Coach Julius Hall, Jamal Touré. We say to all you share. Glad to have you here. We've been out. We've been tired of doing other things for some organizations, some student groups, and graduations and finals and all of that. But we are here. Coach Julius Hall, we in the house with him. He got on his Warrior jersey. He got on the right jersey. I got on my jersey also. It's, the town. So, again, we represent.
That's right.
Ebony Sports Reporters. And we said, "Oh, you're glad to have you here." So we know you discussed it last week, but we want to get into it because it's still something. It's still a lingering impact, and that is the betrayal. The betrayal. Why is it? Why the sentiments of the betrayal regarding HBCU people and Deion Sanders going to Colorado? Some people have talked about it, but still, even today, even this weekend, even right now, still the sense of betrayal. Coach Julius Hall, what's your thoughts on that? Because, everybody's not going to like your opinion, so that's why we put up, the caveat, the warning is merely his opinion. It is merely his opinion.
Well, I talked to Deion earlier today, and he told me to tell everybody to get a damn life.
Oh.
Deion said get a life because Deion is doing exactly what Deion wants to do. Nobody's paying Deion. Nobody's taking care of Deion's bills. Deion is in this. This is a profession. You don't go into a profession to stand still. You don't go into a profession worrying about everybody else. He is in there to do a job. Why can't somebody else come and do a job? They're acting like Deion is God. Deion just knew how to motivate athletes. And somebody else need to come along and have that same type of mentality, have that same type of gravitas, those type of balls that will give you that type of demand your respect. These players respect him. They play better because they fear what he thinks. So they play at a higher level. So why can't another athlete, well-known athlete, come in, take over the program and do the same thing? Why can't the coach that saw Deion do it, that he left there to take over, why can't he do it? It's what you got in your heart, that makes you who you are. And all they got to do is just play at the top of their game. That's all they got to do. But Deion told me to tell everybody, Deion, you either doing two things when you're in this profession. You elevating or you being terminated. Ain't no other things you do. You elevating or you're being terminated. And before he could be terminated, he's elevating. He didn't get there. You don't start working at a waitress at Carrie Hilliard's restaurant, and then you don't want to take the job at Ruth Chris knowing you're going to make 5 times more every day. Instead of making $100, you're going to make $500 at Ruth Chris. So you're saying that Deion shouldn't go and take the job at Ruth Chris? Nah, because he's loyal to those people that come and eat there every day. Yeah, right. What?
Well, some people are going to say that it was quoted that this was about God, and that this is about God, and it's a mission, that it is a spiritual mission that was involved in with regards to this. So it was not based on, as someone going to say, like Najee Enzi, based on some filthy lucre, based on some money. That it was more than that. And so that was some people, they questioned. They said, but when you sell it to the people that this is a mission, that is a spiritual mission, and then now you turn to the secular realm, so that's something that comes into play. But then also some other people have said that you got $5 million when you possibly could have gotten $500 million, and the impact would have been even greater if you were still there. Even at Jackson State, they said for another 3 years. So they were like saying, you do the $5 million, but that's one part of the story. But some people also throw out, and just get your thoughts on this, Coach Julius Hall. They said that Deion wanted to get into coaching, but he did not want to be an assistant coach or be a position coach. He wanted to be a head coach, and that Jackson State and that the HBCUs were the ones that gave him the opportunity. That, again, now what some people are going to say, it's not me saying this, but some said that his ego will not allow him to be under somebody else's tutelage. So that's why he basically searched out, found some people that would say, okay, we'll let you be a head coach. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, let me address that first. Everything that you do, you use people. I'm going to talk to the spiritual part second. But your job uses you for the services that you provide, and you use the job for money so that you can have your livelihood. So Deion got something out of it. They got something out of it. They got something they never had in the history of that program. An undefeated season going to a bowl game. They've never had that. So how can they complain about something that they've never had and somebody provided to them? That means that they are unappreciative of what Deion did.
And it's not necessarily the people at Jackson State. This is just people in general who are supporters of HBCUs. This
They don't matter. Those people don't matter. They're not paying Deion. They're not giving Deion anything. This is about going to your highest level in the profession, what you're doing. Of course, Deion shouldn't have wanted to be no assistant coach nowhere. He's Deion. He's the GOAT. He's the greatest cornerback to ever play the game. He's a two-sport, 5-team player. You know, so why would he go be an assistant somewhere when his presence is gonna bring people to the game? Imagine Deion coaching Savannah State. Same thing at Jackson. He's gonna sell out. He's gonna get great athletes. Everything is gonna happen for whatever college he at. Colorado, look what's happening. Everybody going into the portal so they can go play for Deion. Everybody who counting this guy out, they can't count. If you're counting Deion out, you can't count. That's like betting against me. Now, let me talk to the spiritual part of it. To all the people who saying Deion used this as a spiritual. This is what Deion felt in his heart. This is what God told Deion. So now we know God too. So we know what God telling Deion. So God didn't tell Deion, I didn't tell you you was going to stay at Jackson State. I just told you you was going to Jackson State. Do what I told you to do here. Now I'm telling you to move on up. You're going to touch people and change things on a different level. Now Deion can show if he's successful at Colorado State, at Colorado, then Deion can show that other African-American athletes can do this too. Because look at what we got in college football. You got people that ain't never played the game before. You got people that played the game 100 years ago, coaching. You know, dinosaurs coaching. You know, so Deion brings this with him. They don't want Deion to be successful because Deion gonna steal all the top athletes from them. That's what this is about. You know, and those of us who sitting on the sideline saying Deion should have stayed there and finished his commitment to the school. No, Deion shouldn't. Nobody stays in. All college coaches go everywhere. All they do is elevate. So don't cry because Deion is doing the same thing. You got to take advantage of your opportunities when they present themselves. That's me.
Look at what Eddie Robinson did. Look at what he did at Grambling.
He had no choice.
Look at Eddie. Eddie had choices, but Eddie stayed there. Look at wait a minute. Let's look at Jake Gaithers at a place called FAMU. Yeah, the legendary one. So I'm just throwing it out there, you know.
So you're saying that Eddie Robinson and Jake Gaithers at Grambling and FAMU could have went from what they were doing and been given the opportunities that Deion is. No, they couldn't. Because see, the times were different back then. They weren't giving a black man back when Eddie was doing what he was doing, a Alabama, Georgia job or any of those jobs, Mississippi. You couldn't get none of them. You couldn't get none of those jobs. And they stayed where they were comfortable at, where they were successful at. They were comfortable with the money that they were making because they were the highest paid black coaches at the time. So, and they, was putting guys in the NFL. So no, you can't equate the two. It's totally different than then and now.
But Eddie was still around when they began. You started seeing African American coaches now at PWIs. So Eddie was still. He was right there. He was around at that time.
But he was old as hell, Jamal. Ain't nobody wanted him then.
Bear Bryant. Look at Bear Bryant.
He's white. It's a two worlds. You know that. It's two worlds. It's two worlds we live in the United States. You got the white world and you got the black world.
Okay.
You really got three worlds. And you got that world in the middle where sometimes you accept it no matter what it is. You got those three worlds, but some of us it's hard to get in the middle. So you live on this side or you live on that side. That's just the way it is.
All right. So we got a wild card we're gonna throw out. And if he's looking at the show, because he's had a conversation with me about this, and that he says that Colorado is the best place in the entire country. That Colorado said that, but he indicated that Colorado, that it will take you a lifetime to basically take in all of Colorado. And that is my big brother, Tony Mitchell. Tony Mitchell said Colorado, the best place in the entire world. And he said that when people leave from other places to go to Colorado, they realize how magnificent it is. And so that's what's going to happen with Deion and all of them. They're going to be out there and they're going to see how magnificent Colorado is and say, look at everything that goes on there. So what's your thoughts on that, Coach Julius Hall? Again, like I said,
you probably better. You need to be careful when you're traveling and taking in all of the scenery in Colorado. You see what happened to Mark Curry in Colorado Springs, Colorado. So Tony loves Colorado because Tony was able to fit in and be in the middle. Tony was able to fit in and be in the middle. Tony is a very nice guy, so they liked him out there, and so he fit right in. So Tony was accepted in Colorado. They got some black little spots in Colorado, so I don't know about what Tony's talking about. That you just sometimes you're able to fit in, and sometimes you're not.
And the opinion of Coach Julius Hall are merely the opinion of Coach Julius Hall. To those in Denver, we mean you no offense. Those of you in Boulder, no offense at all. Colorado City, Colorado Springs, we mean you no offense. And Tony, again, you say from the skiing to everything, being on the Rocky Mountains, that again, Colorado is close to heaven. That's what he indicates. So yes. And so we move on to someone now, another group of people also, and that these are WNBA players. WNBA players who have to make decisions about playing in Europe. People not understanding that they make more money playing in Europe and in China and overseas and in Asia than what they make as playing in the WNBA. So, Coach Julius, what's your thoughts with regard to these women who have to leave out of their home country to now go abroad to Europe and Asia and then to China for them and even Australia to now play and get professional contracts? What's your thoughts on that, Coach Julius Hall?
My real thoughts on it is that they need to pay these players more. They need to have a longer season so they can play a little longer, make more money, and they need to do some mass marketing so that you can get people out to the game, so that you can boost the ad revenue. So that way, once the ad revenue and TV goes up, then the players can make more money. I think they're underpaying the players on purpose. Somebody's getting rich. The NBA is a multi-billion-dollar industry. You can avoid all this by the NBA putting these teams right in the thick of things with the regular NBA. Because what's wrong? Just like when we were in high school, what happened? The junior varsity played first, the girls played next, and then the varsity boys played last. So why can't you have the same thing in the NBA? Why can't you have a girls' game before the men's game? Why can't they do that? You know why? Because it's greed. They don't want to do that because the NBA will have too much say in it, and they would have to pay these players. That's why they don't want to do it. But it would increase their revenue. It would increase the fan participation because people are going to take their young daughters to see these games, and they're going to stay over to see the professional NBA game. So it's just people got to start thinking. These players can go over there. I would just say don't go to Russia, don't go to Iran, don't go to countries that don't have a good relationship with the United States. If you do, from now on, if you go over to these countries that don't have a good relationship with us, then you do it at your own risk. Nobody should be in Russia right now. No American should be in Russia right now. None.
And that's what we segue with regards to this, because you have former WNBA players who are talking about now what they hope to see from the whole fiasco that happened with regard to Brittnay Griner, that they're going to see some greater pay equity going on with regards to that, but then also with regard to the respect and reverence of what they are doing with regard to the skill set and the impact that it has on young ladies right now with regards to playing here collegiately and with regard to secondary schools and primary schools and recreation and playing basketball. So what's your thought?
Okay, that's great. And you just jarred my thinking because maybe they haven't thought of this, but I just have by you saying what you say. The NFL is thinking about bringing in teams from overseas in England. Correct? Did you see that? They go play every year. They play a couple of games in England every year. They're thinking about having teams over there into the NFL. So why can't since the NBA doesn't want to boost the WNBA, the WNBA owners and commissioners need to get together and see whether, let's make our season longer. Let's include teams from overseas also and form a league. And then that way we can have overseas teams playing with our teams, make it a real big world basketball league.
And they will still, even though the WNBA is still a subsidiary of the NBA, though people may not look at it like that, but because again, you look at owners who are NBA owners who are also owners of WNBA teams. And so
Correct.
with regards that more dollars are put into the NBA teams. So how do you think they will feel, those owners? Because again, they're looking at the NBA being the greatest show on turf, the greatest show with regards to the excitement, the greatest athletes. And so now saying, hey, we want to have a component that now branches out. Because even though they say we want this to be a global game, how do you think they'll feel with regards to now having to compete or have competition coming from Europe, coming from Asia, coming from Russia? With regards to that, what's your thoughts on that? So, your idea?
They just gonna have to look at the competition. They just got to deal with it because they're not willing to step up and do what's right so that these girls can make a livable wage. They're not making a livable wage, making $30,000. They could go work at a restaurant and make $50,000. You know, being a waitress. You know, they're not making a livable wage, even though the sport is much easier. They're probably getting allotments for where they live at and for housing and food allotments. They're probably getting all those things, but you still got to look at what is best for the league. And I think that if you combine all of these teams, even put the Russian teams in, but Vladimir Putin got to know that you cannot, if he's going to be hostile like that, no, I wouldn't let my players go play a game in Russia. You know, I would not let him in right now. I don't think they will anyway. But I would do it over in Italy, over in Germany, over in wherever they're playing, the girls are playing countries. They need to all form and come into the WNBA. That makes it global.
Okay. All right. We now move on to another thing dear to the hearts of those people who love HBCU sports. And now we go to the oldest HBCU conference, and that is the CIAA, the Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association, the CIAA, which some people are going to say they have the best tournament, that is championship tournament, playoff tournament in the entire country. If you've never been there, people will tell you, you need to go to you need to experience that. So Tony Mitchell, in your lifetime, you need to go up there and experience the CIAA championship if you have not already done that, but I'm sure more likely you've gone to it. So again, what's your thoughts with regard to CIAA, Coach Julius Hall?
Well, CIAA is there. I like going to Charlotte. I think that's where they play all their championship games. Their tournament is in Charlotte every year.
Yes, sir.
A couple of years they have these day parties, which is great. The league will be all right. We just got to get people in the African American community to support yourself, because when you support these HBCUs, then you're supporting yourself. You're supporting your grandkids. You're supporting your children. You're supporting other people from your community's kids, and they just got to be able to reach out. See, one of the things about HBCUs, especially ones like Savannah State, is they get a little bougie, and they step out and they don't include everybody, and we talked about this earlier. There's a lot that needs to be done. It's about the school. It's about the program. It isn't about nobody's feelings and everything else. You do what you must do to win. They brought Deion in at Jackson State to win. You think they could have brought somebody else in and did that? Hell no. So do what you got to do to win. They're not doing that at Savannah State. The stands would be full. The recruitment would be better if they had hired Lamar Owens Jr. If they had hired Lamar Owens Jr. at Savannah State College, he would have had BC athletes going there and coming and looking at the game. He'd have had BC athletes going and playing for Savannah State. He'd have had all the community because he and his father were stars when they played ball. So you got that his age group and his father's age group that would have been filling the stadium. He would have had an alumni association, a sports booster club out of this world because he's from here. We'd have been buying jerseys. We'd have been filling the stands. We'd have been helping him recruit. But nobody's thinking like that at Savannah State because they're dinosaurs and they want the school to fail so that they can give the school to scare us Georgia Southern. Ain't nobody stupid. And they got Negroes like they got at City Hall in Savannah doing the work for them. Don't come with that, the opinions of Julius Hall.
The opinions of Julius Hall are merely opinions of Julius Hall that should be aired on something called the Rabble or something on the Watchdog. That is not for Ebony Sports Reporters. It is not no crossover. We're not doing any crossover. This is not Marvel Comics and none of that right there. This is Ebony Sports Reporters.
It connected. It interweaved. It connected. You had to make a comparison as to what the reasons why. This is sports we're talking, and everything is relevant.
You could have compared
APR right there. That stands for all things.
You could have connected caterpillars and worms. You could have done that. That would have been better to do caterpillars and worms. So Savannah State University, the opinions of Julius Hall, Coach Julius Hall, merely his opinions. Savannah State University, that let you all know that. Yes, indeed. But it is fitting for us to go here. I'm going to throw it up there. Chris Paul, your boy Chris Paul is getting his degree, I think, this weekend. In fact, Chris Paul is getting his degree from Winston-Salem State. What's your thoughts on that? Because you are a fan of Chris Paul.
Chris Paul, I congratulate him. Congrats to Chris. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's a big supporter of HBCUs. He is a real big supporter of HBCUs. And I love that he cares, even though he went to a PWI, he is a big supporter of HBCUs. So other athletes need to follow in his footsteps, Jamal. He's 37 years old. He's went back, got his degree and getting it from Winston-Salem State. And we appreciate how he supports the HBCUs, because if all of us did what he's doing, then our lives would be better. It would be richer for all of us. But see, we are in that mentality where we just lay down. And like you said, that's some talk for the rabble. So we'll get to that another time.
Thank you. God bless you. But we'll roll with this one right here. That the Cowboys have kind of been indicating that they're backing off a little bit with regard to Odell Beckham. You know why? And I will share this with y'all. Julius Hall has a large family group called the Mainers. The Mainers are inclusive of the Joneses. And the Joneses that we're talking about is Jerry Jones, and Jerry Jones is a cousin to Coach Julius Hall. So why is your cousin backing off of Odell Beckham? Or at least there's some thoughts about that they're backing off. Why is your cousin Jerry Jones doing that, who's a part of the Maynard family?
Well, y'all know that Jamal will tell a lie in a minute. And so, but my thoughts on Beckham is that a slave needs to know and demand his worth. You did great things in the NFL, and now the NFL will show you that who you really are, and they'll turn their back on you. So you have to realize who you are. You have to be able to step above all that. You need to get yourself right. Don't come back till you're right. Those people look and they watch everything you do when you're practicing and when you got tryouts. They know whether you're healthy or not, Odell. And they saw that he was not completely healed yet. So why would they invest that type of money into a player that they know is not healthy? They were willing to give him a contract, but not at what he wanted because he was not at his full potential. So Odell wanting that massive contract, and think about it, Odell in Dallas, Odell in Kansas City. Just the fact that he's on the field changes everything, changes defenses, everything. But see, that's them telling him, Negro, stay in your place.
No. Oh, okay.
That's what they're telling him.
Okay.
He changes things in those big, large markets, like he did in New York. He would do the same in Kansas City. He would do the same in Dallas. Those are big markets. Anywhere he go, he would do it in Atlanta. But Atlanta ain't smart enough to get anybody anyway. They can come get you, but they won't even come get you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And so we'll throw out another Cowboy situation. Michael Parsons making comments about Jalen Hurts. What's up with that? What's up with that in your thoughts, in your opinion, Coach Julius Hall?
I think he just want to be like the rappers, have beef with somebody. You know, I'm serious. He just want to be like the rappers for some reason. You know, I don't understand the boy. You know what he'll be doing, Jamal, is watching Jalen in the playoffs go deep in the playoffs, because Dallas will exit early like they always do.
Okay. To the cult called the Cowboys, that is the opinions of Coach Julius Hall. His opinion solely.
You can't be scared of the Cowboys too.
Huh?
You can't be scared of the Cowboy fans.
I gotta live in this country.
Okay.
I can at least let them know that don't come at me, come at him. You know?
I can't say nothing else. But Parsons, Micah, how he says his name, how he spells it is different than Michael, but it's Micah. You will be watching Jalen from your living room, or unless you go buy tickets to the game.
So we throw it out to you. Why do you think there's a criticism of Jalen with regards to how he's performing this season? Why do you think there's a criticism? And do you think he will be the MVP? Do you think he'll be the MVP?
The criticism, have you read Doug Williams' book?
Go ahead. We want y'all to share it out there to the audience. So yes.
Quarter black, you know, not quarterback, quarter black. You know, there is a hidden agenda for black quarterbacks. They don't think that black quarterbacks have it. But the league is more exciting because of people like Jalen Hurts. You know, they saw it coming when Warren Moon and Doug Williams. But now you see Jalen Hurts and what the boy name in Dallas? Your cousin? Dak Prescott. You know, and my boy Mahomes. You got these quarterbacks that can do it all, and not only can they throw and pass, but they can run, and do it all. So you know they're thinkers. They're the LeBrons of football now.
And see, and that's interesting you bring that up, because people who come at them, and we throw this out there to you all in the audience, that people talk about how with Cam Newton in particular, that again, Cam sustained hits and injuries that others were protected from, say a Tom Brady, and they try to indicate because they were able to be, you know, quick on their thinking, on their feet with regards to thinking, and basically devising ways to get out of the pocket to still have a play come about, a successful play. That again, but we look at that, but then, and people look at these African-American quarterbacks and say, you know, and have this commentary about them, but then Josh Allen does some things similar. Josh Allen with Buffalo. Josh does some things similar, and you don't hear the same thoughts, because again, with Jalen, they're going to question him being able to throw, and that his efficiency has been great this year right here. He's developed further, but then you have Josh Allen. So again, they celebrate Josh Allen that he's a mountain of a man, and he's going to take it. He's going to take it to him. So go ahead, Coach Julius Hall.
Jamal, I'm glad you brought that up, because if you look at the commentating from these NFL analysts that commentates these games every week, when you see a black quarterback do something, he underthrew the ball. Oh, he didn't read it right. But then you'll see the white quarterback come in, and the next game, the white quarterback, his receiver is at fault. His receiver turned the wrong way. His receiver did that. Oh, he's going to be okay. He just misread that one, but he's been throwing great. If he do say anything bad about him, he's going to say something good also. But when it comes to black quarterbacks in the league, they downplay it, and they say what they want to say. There's no positivity out of their mouths about those quarterbacks. They were critical of Mahomes, his sideways passing, his running around the field, all this. They were critical of it until he won Super Bowl.
Yeah,
So when he won the Super Bowl, then they and brought the league up to where it is now. Now they're accepting of it. But everybody's gonna love the drop back quarterback with the big boy out of San Diego, the Chargers.
Justin Herbert.
Herbert. What? You got Josh Allen in Buffalo. You got some great quarterbacks. Brady was successful for so long because he had great lines, and he had good those receivers that wanted to make it. And they were playing with Brady. So Brady could sit back there all day. I could be Brady if I had the lines Brady had. You know what I'm saying? He sat back there. He's 6'6" or something like that. He's sitting back there and he's throwing the ball to open receivers. That's because he got all day to throw it. If you don't have all day to throw the ball, you can't be successful in the NFL. That's why you got to have the Jalen Hurts and the Patrick Mahomes so they can get out of the pocket and throw the ball.
Okay. All right. And so we now go to the NBA, and we look at James Wiseman with regards to the Golden State Warriors. That Wiseman is stepping up to the plate. And so what do you foresee? We want your prediction right now, because Coach Julius Hall, you might be wrong, but you don't think so. What do you think is the future for the Golden State Warriors?
The future for the Golden State Warriors is that they got a bunch of players in the G League that are playing exceptionally well than the rest of the players playing or getting ready for the other teams. So they got 3 or 4 guys on those squads that they can bring up, and they can bypass some of the draft because they got the players already there. They can bypass a whole lot of stuff and then trade to get money for players that are already on the bench or these players that are in the G League. It's again, they got a plantation where they can sell the players. You see what I'm saying? They can sell those G League players, but those G League players want to be sold. It's a small comparison, but this is what they do for a living. So the Golden State Warriors look like they can probably win 5 or 6 championships in a row.
Okay. All right. And you heard that from Coach Julius Hall. And so now we go and bring up something. There's a wonderful show that comes on called Jalen and Jacoby. And so David Jacoby is now going to be making his say where he's going to be leaving from ESPN. And so, Coach Julius Hall, I am scared to ask the question, but I'll just ask, what's your thoughts on David Jacoby now leaving ESPN? And we no longer have it Jalen and Jacoby.
Well, Jamal, he's been there 23 years. You do know that, right?
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So why can't they have Jamal and Jalen? Why can't they have J and J with Jamal, Julius, and Jalen? We available. ESPN, we are available to come and be with Jalen. We would add flavor to the network. Our show would probably be number one because we're gonna be off the cuff with it, and y'all gonna have to put up a bunch. We're gonna take Brittnay with us too. He'll be our guest for satellite in every now and then. I don't know whether he's gonna be a regular host with me and you. It's the 3 J's: Jalen, Julius, and Jamal. So Brittnay, he'll be our guest sometime. But now if you're looking, I got you, boy. You just come on and be with me. Because the 3 J's. See, it's already ringing, Jamal.
Triple J, that's right.
Jalen, Jamal, and Julius.
That's right. I like that. I like the sound of that. That was even better. I can even think of something even better than that. Bam. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. ESPN, we got you. All you gotta do is call us up. We know sports. We just see it a little different than everybody else, but we know sports. So all you gotta do is call us up. We ready for the big leagues right now. Eric Johnson, you need to make that call and make it happen, Eric Johnson. Scopio Entertainment, Scopio Productions. You need to make that call. Put me and Jamal with Jalen Hurts since Jacoby is leaving. All right? The 3 J's.
We're on Roku. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. That's right. Check us out. And spread it and share it.
That's
so now we come to another. Well, I have to go and say this. If Coach Robert Bryant was on here, he will be making excuses right now. He will go and he'll have to go and tell people to leave folks alone. That's what he'll be doing if that was Coach Robert Bryant. And so we now come down to this, Coach Julius Hall, a woman who's playing hockey. She now had Tony has joined us. Tony Mitchell. I had shared. I'll come back to Tony Mitchell. Like I said, that's why we don't see Phil Simms and Chris Collinsworth. So Tony Mitchell, I'm going. I had let Coach Julius Hall know that Colorado is next to heaven in your opinion. That you say Colorado, you cannot take in all of Colorado in a weekend or 2 weeks. You need a lifetime to take in Colorado. So I shared that to my big brother, Tony Mitchell, to have to let you know that. But now we'll go to this, Coach Julius Hall. Coach Julius Hall, here's a woman who's playing hockey. She suffers a concussion, and it's a trans hockey team. So she suffers a concussion from a biological male who's a part of the trans hockey team that they're playing, this league.
I don't know how this get to be any news, but it's not really any news. I hate hockey.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, but we're gonna talk hockey.
Lord.
If you're on the court, let me tell you the reason why. I'll tell you on the reason why. But if you're on the hockey rink, if you're on that rink, then you got to understand that it's a possibility that you're going to get hurt and hurt bad. You might lose some teeth. You might get a concussion like she did. You might get a broken bone or broken neck. I don't like hockey. You know why I don't like hockey?
No, sir.
Well, I never like hockey, but I can tell you another reason. The other reason is this. The other reason I don't like hockey is because who was that? Was it Jalen Rose? Who was it that Dennis Rodman? Who that was fighting the players out of the stands back in the day with Detroit?
Ron Artest.
Ron Artest. Mm-hmm. They were fighting. And then you get Oakley always fighting. You get Charles Barkley always wanting to do something. They were bullies. This is a little roughing up in football. But the reason in basketball, and the reason I don't like hockey is because when there's a fight in a majority African American sport like football and basketball, and these are thugs. And what are they doing? Are they crazy? But then you turn on the hockey game and they damn near killing each other with sticks. Body slamming and fighting and throwing fists. And it's acceptable. But it's not acceptable in sports that we dominate.
Okay.
That's why I don't like hockey. Because there's two worlds in the sports world also. You know, for us. It's their world and it's our world. And they because they own all the teams. That's why.
All right. And so what's your thoughts with regards to, again, this is a league that's created by, or say a tournament that's created by the NHL. And so it's all trans, and that a biological male caused a concussion to a female. What's your thoughts with regards to that? Should that be occurring?
No, because a man is obviously way stronger than a woman. But if a woman wants to get on that field, like she gets on a basketball court, she gonna get that foul. If she gets on a football field, then she's gonna get ran over. So she goes on a hockey field, no matter whether you're trans or what, because that trans biological male is stronger than that trans biological female. So that female is going to get trampled over every time. The male is still a man. He has the abilities to be more swifter, to be faster, to be stronger. So he can hurt the female. So I think it's a bad idea either have all women trans playing against all women and all men's trans playing. If the National Hockey League want to do something, then they need to do what's right. You can't put that type of. That's like saying you're gonna put a high school player on the field, football playing a college team or NFL team.
Okay.
They're gonna get slaughtered. They're gonna get blown out. They're gonna get knocked off the line. That's the difference.
And like we said, we know Coach Robert Bryant will be making some excuses with regards to this, but we appreciate that. And so now we go on to Lionel Messi, highest paid athlete, nearly $130 million. What's your thoughts with regards to those others also, and Lionel Messi with regards to his earnings per year, Coach Julius Hall?
I guess Jordan not on him because he's not an athlete anymore. Because I know Jordan got to be up there also.
Right, because they're talking about athletes, people who are athletes right now. Yes,
right. Because Magic and Jordan would have made that list, and Shaq. So Messi's making 130. You got LeBron making 121 million a year. LeBron, we all for you, boy. But my boy is on that list too. He making 93 million a year. 93 million a year. So I'm just real proud of him. It's a lot of money that these cats are making. You see now with the baseball players, Aaron Judge is making 40 million a year for 9 years. So he's making all that money. 9 times 4 is 36. So he's making $360 million. He's making almost $500 million to play a sport, which is awesome. More money to him because think about it. If they can pay Aaron Judge that, if they can pay Patrick Mahomes $25 million a year and give him ownership in the Kansas City Royals, they making a lot of money because they got to play all those other players too and pay him. That's like Magic Johnson back in the day when Magic Johnson got the incentive to own part of the 10%, 1% or something of the Lakers, and he had a $1 million for the rest of his life or something like that. Everybody thought that was big back then, and look at it now. You got cats making $40 million a year. Steph Curry making 93. KD, Kevin Durant $92 million a year. $92 million. Roger Federer, tennis player, $90 million a year. But LeBron and Messi making $130 million a year, and LeBron is 121. So they taking full advantage of the opportunities that presented themselves.
And so, and again, and this was a wonderful segue. So, Coach Julius Hall, I have to ask you, what's your thoughts on the World Cup? What's your thoughts on the World Cup?
Huh?
The World Cup. You already talked about why you don't care for hockey. So
I
now
don't care for soccer either. Now, I'm going to give you, that's the other football. That's what y'all want to call it, football. They want to take over and talk about football. They want to be football now. But I don't too much care about the World Cup. Not a lot of people in America care about the World Cup unless the Americans are playing in the World Cup. Ain't nobody running to see no hockey. Forget about it. Ain't nobody running to see no hockey. I mean, to see no soccer.
There are millions of people who this is seen by more than the Super Bowl, the World Cup. The people say this is the world game right here. This is football. This is real football. So, Coach Julius Hall, you don't have a thought about with regards to Argentina and France. You don't have a sentiment with regards to any of that. You don't have any desire with regards to that. This is Ebony Sports Reporters.
Couler bouger. Whatever. I don't know what that means in French. But anyway, Argentina and France, okay, you're two great teams. They've been dominating for a while, especially Argentina. So I do watch a little bit of it. I sneak and watch it. Just like other two sports that I don't like either. You know what those are? Car racing and golf. I'd rather watch grass grow or paint dry. I'd rather paint the house and watch it dry than watch those sports. So World Cup, great, because you got the whole world watching it. You got a bunch of people hollering football and goal. I like that part of it. I like goal all day long. I didn't holler that. But what happened to the African team? We had some bad boys playing in the African team. The World Cup is what it is. It's football, the original football, because you got to use your foot to do everything. So they call it football. You don't use your foot to do anything in American football,
right?
So except for the kick. But anyway, hats off to the World Cup.
Okay.
Whoever wins, I don't care. It's not gonna make my day. I'm more interested in who's gonna win the NBA championship. I'm more interested in who's gonna be in the Super Bowl. I'm more interested in whether Aaron Judge is gonna hit 62 home runs this year. You see what I'm saying? I'm more interested in whether the Braves gonna do. I'm really interested in what the Hawks gonna do this year. So you see.
All right, we got you, Coach Julius Hall. So we move on to this right here. Fisk University. Fisk University is prepared now to stop their gymnastics season. Historic first right here with HBCU having a gymnastic team. So what's your thoughts on the Fisk University and their gymnastic team, Coach Julius Hall?
I'm waiting on Savannah State to start so I can start attending to the competitions. What? Me and Bernard and Coach Rob DeLoach, we're going to have front row seats when Savannah State starts their gymnastics program. Okay. So we need to get into all sports. That is great because now you have those kids that are out there flipping and going to those dance classes and doing all those little tumbles and everything and flips. they can go and put on now and do it in a organized fashion under a coach that will put them on to the next level. You know, you got the Dominic Dawes still being born. You know, we're born athletes. Our bodies are just some for some reason we are, I don't know, it's our African nature, the DNA that is in us is just that we're born for the endurance and to be athletes.
All right. We move on. So we did ask you earlier, but we're going to get into depth with regards to who do you think should be who at this point right now in the NFL, who you think is the most valuable player? Who's the MVP right now?
Really? Really?
Yeah, that's why we got the question. That's why
the world knows that Jalen Hurts is the MVP.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
The world knows. Anybody looking at anybody else, you must be got on some blinders. Any Dallas Cowboy that's talking about anybody on that sorry team, y'all just delusional. So it is really, really, really the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts.
So, you know, you're going to say that. So with regards to, what about Patrick Mahomes?
Patrick is my boy, but he's not doing what Jalen doing. Jalen is consistently doing what he's supposed to do.
All right. Okay.
Patrick is so up and down. Who played tonight? San Francisco tonight, right? They're probably playing right now. They probably, they done kicked off.
Mm-hmm.
So San Francisco playing tonight. Good game.
And so for the Celebration Bowl, who do you think going to win the Celebration Bowl out of the SWAC and the MEAC? You got North Carolina Central
against North Carolina Central. It's going to be some type of game, Jamal. I don't know who's going to win. Let me ask you a question. Is Deion coaching in it?
I didn't think. Well, yes, he's supposed to be coaching. He's supposed to be coaching.
I don't think he's gonna coach if he's already gone and accepted the job. And
part of what they were saying that he's supposed to be coaching, but yeah, we were like thinking that probably not. But yeah,
he did say that, but I don't think he's gonna coach. Is his son playing in it? His son already entered the portal. Also, he's not playing. Anybody already entered there, I don't think they're gonna be eligible to play for those.
So you're saying that the MEAC is gonna win?
I'm saying that it's going to be a more competitive game that now that Deion is not there. See, Deion was the Alabama and the Georgia to the HBCUs.
Well, last year South Carolina State beat Deion, and so
you remember Georgia won a championship too from Old Alabama. And Alabama's dominant. You remember Clemson won a couple of times when Alabama was supposed to be dominant. So South Carolina State snuck up and won and caught them people off guard. If they saw South Carolina State right now today, they'd crush them.
Well. Now Jawan Talbot, who had been on Ebony Sports Reporters, and who he went and said, and he put it out that he said that the SWAC is not like the MEAC. That the MEAC is essentially the SEC of Black college football, and that's what Deion realized, that the SWAC was not that. So that's why when they ran up on that buzzsaw called South Carolina State, and that's why even people was going to say with regards to North Carolina Central that they're playing no hard-nosed football there in the MEAC. They don't do that in the SWAC. So, but I just put it out there. You know, that trying to say you indicating that it'll be the MEAC that will win. That's what we're going to coach. You also MEAC will win.
I say there's going to be a better game now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Deion is coaching in that game because he's doing too much at one school. The other school, I don't think they'll allow him to just go back doing something at the other school. He needs to let the other coach take over, see what he has there, see what he can build on, and go from there. There's too much criticism and flack coming toward Deion for him to even go coach that game right now anyway. But he should have waited and took the job after that game. That's what he should have done. But why he left ahead of time, I don't know. North Carolina Central, I got to go and watch them and see. They must be got something special to make Deion run.
And so what was said, when we had the early conversation about Deion, that was a part of what some others have said, that they observed him at the SWAC championship. They said that he appeared to be more agitated when everybody else was celebrating, everybody was happy. They said that he did not convey that. And they said now they had that concern that he's supposed to coach us in the Celebration Bowl. And they were like saying, we've seen how he JSU, this right here, that JSU, that is Johnson. You talking about Johnson C. Smith? Is that what you want to say? Is that what you're looking at? Which one you're looking at? Going to throw them out there. But again, what they're indicating that they had this concern that he was not celebratory, he was not like everyone else, and that he seemed to be more agitated. And then that's when he then got out of there with the Colorado. So that's why they've not been happy about that. So we just put it on this.
All Deion do is win. So he's so used to winning, he ain't got to jump up. He can't jump up and everything like he used to. He only got a half a foot now. He had half of his foot cut off. So he can't jump up and celebrate the way that everybody else do no more.
And so you and Tony want to go try to hop on the JSU, talking about say, Jackson State, but I hope he was trying to say J.C. Smith, Johnson C. Smith, but
ain't that in Charlotte?
That's in Charlotte, but I'm hoping he was trying to say that as opposed to saying Jackson State. I go and say North Carolina Central shall win. That's why I'm just going to put it on out there. No, NCCU, they will win. Eagle rise. And so now we go on to another bird, the Pelicans. The Pelicans are leading the West in the NBA. The Pelicans. What's your thoughts with regard to Zion and all of them? And then right behind them, you got the Memphis Grizzlies. So you got these young teams that are now, they begin to make the way. Can they last for the long haul? That's the question. Do you think they can last for the long haul? And that, the Pelicans can be number one in the West.
And I think that they can be. I think that they will be. Not the Pelicans. Memphis is who I think will be number one. Pelicans probably end up 2 or 3 behind Golden State. Because for yourself, as soon as this season is over, February is over with, Golden State going to start whipping everybody butt.
Okay. All right. So now we go to the East. Philadelphia, Boston, Milwaukee. Who you think is the beast of the East? Who you think is the class of the East?
Well, it ain't Philadelphia. You would have to go. I know you probably thinking Boston and Milwaukee, but I'm thinking more Atlanta being the dark horse and Brooklyn showing everybody who they really are this year. So I think that those will be the 2 sleepers. Everybody that everybody needs to watch out for is Atlanta and Brooklyn to show who they are. And you can't disregard Miami either. So you got to keep your eye on Miami also, because your boy down there, he gets people up to play. So.
Oh yes. And so again, we now come to the end of Ebony Sports Reporters with Coach Julius Hall, Jamal Teray. And Coach Julius Hall, what do you foresee on the horizon? Any upsets coming up this weekend in the NFL?
You know what the NFL stands for? Not for long.
Oh, okay.
And so everybody is able to get upset in the NFL. They're all highly paid professional football players. And on any given Sunday, a team can be upset. We saw that last week. So many teams went down that were supposed to win. Look at the Detroit Lions. They the whipping boys of the whole league. But they beat the second best team in the NFL and beat them bad. But Minnesota was faking anyway. Minnesota was faking all those miracle wins they had in the last seconds, leading all the way back to last year. They had all those lucky wins. And Detroit put a whipping on. So, like I said, it's just any given Sunday. I can't call an upset right now, but you can look for Kansas City to win. You can look for Buffalo to win and Philadelphia to win and San Francisco to win. So San Francisco should win tonight, even though they got this young quarterback, Purdy, because their quarterback went out. And Debo should make it back after a while. But they got your boy out of Carolina now, McCaffrey. McCaffrey ain't no joke. That boy can flat out play. So they got a nice young team with the best defense in the league. So they should be all right until they get their players healthy. Okay. So that's the only thing that is threatening Philadelphia in the NFC is San Francisco.
And the last thing, we'll close on this note, and we get your thoughts on the team that has won a back-to-back championship, and that is BC, Benedictine. What's your thoughts on that, Coach Julius Hall, as we close out? BC, two state championships back-to-back.
Well, it's excellence coming to this part of the state, and we got to support them mentally if we don't do it physically, financially. We have to support them mentally. BC was always the team that everybody wanted to beat. They get players because they're not in our high school system here in Savannah, even though they're a private high school. They're not in our regular school, public schools system for football. So you get those, what they used to call those players, ringers. You can go and get a ringer. A ringer is a superb athlete that comes and play for your team just in a specialized position. So you can go and get those ringers and bring them to your team.
Okay.
And so that's why BC will always be able to do that, because they can get anybody. They're not prohibited from having a player from any side of the town, of the city, of the county. In certain neighborhoods, got to go to certain schools, but not for BC. Right. You can go anywhere as long as your parents can pay for it, or whether they offer your parent free tuition for you to come play there.
Right. To be a part of the 400. Yes.
So
indeed.
Congratulations to BC, and keep doing what you're doing.
All right. And that has been Coach Julius Hall, Jamal Toure, Ebony Sports Reporters. Check us out. And Tony, once again, Colorado is near to heaven.
And Tony, you can come be on the show anytime that you want. You see that we have we got other hosts that's off for the holidays, so that's why it's just me and Jamal. Next week you'll probably see a rerun because it'll be right around Christmas Eve. What the day is? The day is the 15th, so that's like the 22nd for the next show. That's 3 days for Christmas. So you probably see the same show. Ain't no telling, because Jamal might be in Denver, Colorado, looking at scenery, heaven.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, again, we say share. Check out the repeats that will come be airing on tomorrow. Also, Ebony Sports Reporters, Coach Julius Hall, and to Coach Brittnay Brown. He couldn't come on the show because his caterpillars were basically not eating the food that they need to eat, and he's been concerned, and someone had been dying, so he's trying to take care of his caterpillars. He's been really concerned about that.
Yeah, so y'all tune into Our Black Media all week. We are everywhere. We're on Roku TV. We're on the Our Black Media. Everything is on the Our Black Media, Facebook and YouTube. Y'all tune in.
All right. We'll see y'all. Peace.
Good night.
Like this.